Hi, and welcome to the Hofline, your online hotline, direct line to the women-only attorneys at Hofheimer Family Law. My name is Katie Carter, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm an attorney at Hofheimer Family Law, a Virginia-based family law firm dedicated to representing women exclusively in divorce, custody, and support cases. And I'm here today with Lori Michaud, a 30-year family law veteran and a very experienced military divorce practitioner, to talk in a little more detail about military divorce, and specifically some of the things that Lori thinks that military service members or active duty female military service women really need to know, especially as it relates to the timing of the divorce process. So Lori, thank you so much for being here again today to share with us your knowledge about military divorce. We're so grateful for you.
Hi, Katie. I'm really glad to be here. There's just so much that ladies need to know. Yeah.
I sort of touched on it when I, gave the intro, but that's basically my question for today is, what are the specific rules as far as military divorce and timing that are really important and that you think military spouses should know?
There's a lot of really interesting deadlines and time periods that apply to military divorce that I think are important. Another one thing would be the 20-20-20 rule or the 20-20-15 rule. You don't want to get divorced a month shy of getting the benefits that would apply if you waited a little bit, and could apply under those rules for different military benefits. I think that's really important for women to know. That's why you don't want to go to someone who's not familiar with military law. You need someone who's knowledgeable in this area so that you don't have a problem that you couldn't anticipate there. Yourself, you couldn't have anticipated it. Don't sign stuff. You really don't want to be signing stuff without having good advice, because once you waive something, I can't get it back for you. So, you really need to be careful about what you're waiving and be careful about what you're signing. And if you don't understand what it is you're signing, then guess what? You shouldn't be signing it, right? So I think those things apply even more to military, because there's so many benefits available to spouses and military service members that they can waive with, a stroke of the pen. I mean, it's truly tragic when women give up their rights without knowing what they're doing.
It is. And I think on a lot of cases, military wives are kind of told by their husbands, like, what the expectations are, what they, what is normal in these cases. And if you're looking just, generally for divorce information online, and you're not looking at stuff that's tailored to the military situation, you can easily be confused or not see something that applies to your situation and not realize that what he's telling you isn't necessarily true. It's very different, or at least it triggers different, assets and responsibilities than in a civilian divorce. So it is important that and if you don't know what SGLI is, or 20-20-20 or 20-20-15, then even more important that you talk to someone who does, because you can waive those things even if you don't know what they are. And it's important. It's important to ask. And it might not have been relevant really before now, or you may have just trusted your husband to take care of all those finer details.
That's key too, because most women, I think, are used to trusting their spouse, and even if they don't trust him for everything, they do feel like he's the service member, if he's the service member in that particular situation, and they want to trust that person and rely on them as the person with superior knowledge. But that doesn't always work out well, for the ladies who are literally ending their marriage, whether or not it's their idea or whatever, it doesn't matter. So it's really important. There's some key areas, key time periods that women have to watch out for, and there's way too many of them to really go into here. This is why you need to talk to somebody who's knowledgeable, so that your rights are not lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just more common in the military context than, for civilians, that, especially, with paper before a deployment, or, when they come back, there's, tons of things going back and forth, and maybe you've relied, and he's the service member, he's the one who knows. So you've relied on, a lot of those details getting handled, but at the point that you guys are talking about divorce, you really need to take the responsibility of, getting your own independent information yourself, not signing anything like Lori said, just that, he's put in front of you. You need to read everything. You need to understand everything. And if you haven't read it and you don't understand it, you should be asking questions, and, not to him, to someone who can represent you in a divorce case. And that's why.
Another thing that I think is really a concern for people is they've particularly in the longer marriages or the longer military service background, they rely on military orders all of the time to protect them. But if it's at the point where the spouse is leaving the military, that military order means nothing in the civilian world. And so I think a lot of women get lulled into thinking everything's going to be fine at the point of separation from service, only to find out that now he's retired, he doesn't have anywhere near the income, and that military order saying he had to pay so much in support is no longer effective. So
there's a lot of tension with those support orders.
It's a very dangerous time for women.
It is, and just it's so confusing to know where to get the information, because so many people come in and they're saying, I know from the milpersman that I get this whatever amount of support from my service member husband. When it comes to spousal support, child support, that's something that the court in Virginia, if that's the last place that you were stationed or live as husband and wife, the court here is determining that, not the military. The military is like, guidelines are just guidelines. It's not something that is.
And even if they're ordered in the military, when they leave the military, that order is no longer in effect. So, they're having everything reevaluated at a time that he's at the lowest point in terms of his income. So it can really go badly for dependents. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, all of that to say, you should definitely, if you're a military spouse, be scheduling a consultation with someone like Lori, who can help you understand, the ins and outs of the military rules, the timing associated with the things that you need to do, and the specific rights and entitlements that you have under Virginia law, which in many cases is going to be much more protective of you, especially as a dependent spouse, than any military policies. So don't freak out. Don't call his command. Don't do anything crazy before you sit down with a Virginia attorney like Lori, who can help you understand a little bit more.
Don't sign anything.
The divorce process. Yeah, don't sign anything.
Don't sign anything. If you take nothing else away from this time together, please don't sign anything without having a knowledgeable attorney about your rights look it over first.
Absolutely.
Don't sign any of his separation from service paperwork unless you know what you're signing.
Yeah, okay? Truer words were never spoken.
You can't unsign. That's just the way it is.
Those are the most tragic cases, in my opinion, the ones that I just, I cringe when those consults come in and they're hoping, these women are hoping that they can do something, and there's really very little that can be done.
Our goal here, of course, is to educate women so that they don't come into our office saying, oops, I already waived everything. Instead, they come in time for us to get something positive going for them, to get the best possible outcome.
Yeah, and you have one opportunity. You don't get a do-over. The only things that are ever modifiable really are custody, visitation, and child support. The rest, you're going to be held to. So you get one chance, and you need to do it right, because everything that you're dividing here represents the sum total of, everything you accumulated in your marriage. And in many cases, it's what you've generated through your whole adult life. So it is incredibly important that you get what you are entitled to receive under the law.
Agree.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Lori, so much for being with us. And this was really, really helpful. I also want to point out, for anyone who is coming in and listening to us, you can check out our website at hoflaw.com. That's HOFLAW.com. We have a divorce and a custody seminar. We have 4 free books, a number of free reports, blogs, articles, and tons of information about whatever is happening in your case. So definitely feel free to check through those resources to see what applies to you. And if you're ready for a consult, time to move that case forward, you can give our office a call to schedule a consultation with someone like Lori or any of our other experienced military divorce attorneys. Thank you again, Lori, and thank you to everyone for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time.